to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
We don't rest on this history, but this is an important contextual way to understand Wilberforce and where we're going. And I also think that when we talk about self-determination and we talk about people of African descent and the resilience and the triumph over challenge, that this is such a story of power when you think of an institution. It is difficult for us in the mindset of the 21st century, all of us who are African American, to imagine what it was like in 1856 when most black people were enslaved. Just imagine that. Most black people were enslaved. And yet a group of black people said, we're going to start a university. And that university exists 163 years later. That is a powerful, powerful legacy.
Now, let me ask you a question. Why don't we hear more about Wilberforce University?
Well, because we don't get our story out. That's the challenge, and that's why I'm here today.
Okay.
Actually, and that's why your invitation is really sort of transformative. The fact that you would allow me, as the president of the Wilberforce, the 22nd president of this institution, to come today and talk to you a little bit about this institution and what we're doing.
We haven't had too many presidents of HBCUs reach out to try to talk to some of the the people, our listeners, about colleges and HBCUs. So, we had a conversation maybe about a week ago about college, and I was saying I don't necessarily believe anymore that college is for everybody. And the reason I said that is I think a lot of times the curriculums are a little old, like back into the 1865s. And I think a lot of it needs to change. With a changing world, there's not too many real estate classes and courses. There might be one or two, not too many coding classes, one or two, not too many entrepreneurship courses, one or two. I feel like a lot of times college is really pushing people to be workers, which is fine. But I think especially in our community, we need to own more. We need to be owners and millionaires and billionaires. And I don't think that can necessarily happen if we groom a lot of our kids to be workers.
Well, President Alfred Pinkert, I would love to hear your thoughts on how important college is for young people.
Well, I think that, and I appreciate your perspective on that. But I want you to consider a statistic. Most people who talk to us about the relevance of college or the irrelevance of college are not people of African descent. We are still, as African Americans, we still are a very, very small population of college-going, a small percentage of the college-going population.
Correct.
And while I agree with you that colleges need to be more nimble and more responsive to the economic needs of the nation,
Of our community.
of our community, I do think because all of the indicators suggest that a college education positions one to have a particular kind of life, a particular kind of perspective about living. It does open doors in ways that sometimes are immeasurable, but it does open doors.
Right.
One of the things that you've mentioned that we have spent the last couple of years at Wilberforce really sort of defining our value proposition, essentially saying, excuse me, what distinguishes Wilberforce, the Wilberforce University experience from all others.
Correct.
And what we've landed on is saying that we want to be a premier liberal arts institution. So we want to honor our liberal arts tradition with an entrepreneurial intention. So that we are saying to young people, if you want to own a business, come to Wilberforce. We will introduce you to an entrepreneurial mindset.
I love that.
We will give you the tools and the aptitude to be able to own your own business. So we hear you when you talk about the needs of the community. We have little known. We have a master's program at Wilberforce. This is a master's program in rehabilitation counseling. Now, the reason why this particular program is important, and
Mm-hmm.
we have intentions to grow this program, is because the state of Ohio is a state that has a large number of opioid addiction.
Mhm.
And we want to train clinicians who are culturally sensitive to be able to go out and meet the needs of this particular population.
Correct.
That's a niche that speaks to what a community need and to
Absolutely.
what we're able to do in terms of developing.
Gotta fill a void, yep.
Absolutely. The other program that we have is our degree completion program for the working adult. Many adults have started careers. They've been very successful in their careers, but somehow they want the degree because it's a personal aspiration of theirs, or they may be in a situation where they have been told that you can get further if you have a degree. We offer an opportunity for the working adult to come and complete their education.
Yeah,
So-
and they have statistics that show that people who graduate from college end up making a significant amount more money than people that never went.
Yeah.
You know, so there are numbers that can back that up as far as statistics.
And this is what you're talking about is really something that faces liberal arts colleges, and that is, I mean, students are saying, why should I major in English? Why should I major
I
in
majored
religion?
in English.
What can I do with that? What we have come to know is that if you have a solid liberal arts education,
Mhm.
you can be a good critical thinker. You can problem solve. You embrace diversity of thought and perspective more openly than other people, and you can move around the world with a level of comfort that people who have not been exposed to that kind of background. And while it might not be an easy route to a job, and it is a pathway to a particular kind of life for individuals. And HBCUs, Wilberforce in particular, and all of them. I sit here today not speaking for my colleagues, but knowing that there are 100 plus of these incredible institutions that have been around for over 100 years and that have touched the lives of most African Americans. One of the things that I do often when I'm talking to people, I will say, stand up if you went to an HBCU. A number of people will stand up. Stand up if you know someone who went to an HBCU. Stand up if you had a family member. Stand up if you had a coach or a minister or a barber or somebody in your community that you looked up to. Invariably, almost everyone in the room is standing at the end of that. That shows the impact, the historical impact of these institutions. And you asked the question earlier, why don't you know about Wilberforce? Because we don't tell this story. We don't tell this powerful story. And again, I'm so appreciative of you all for giving me the opportunity of telling you the story of one, the first, the oldest.
Now tuition is $13,000.
All of you who came out. Really appreciate it. I had the pleasure of meeting some of you for the first time today. Putting a name with a face is great. Others of you I've talked to on the phone, Dr. Black, Dr. Brown, several times. And then all of you have received probably way more emails from me than you like. I would love to tell you that you have seen the last of the emails from me, but that would not be true. There will be other emails to come. Again, what I want to do is take a few minutes to just give you the statement of occasion, why we are here and why this was so important to have this orientation. You know, there's been a lot of changes with the CLIMB program over the last couple of months. Those changes have come from the very top of the organization. We have a new vice president of academic affairs. We have a new dean for the College of Graduate and Adult and Continuing Education. And CLIMB is in the College of Graduate and Adult and Continuing Education, under which we fall under the academic affairs. So there are new staff people. There is a refreshed and recharged vision for the department. And you all are going to get an opportunity to be a part of something that we call reimagining the Klein program specifically, but we are